So it's been about 4 years since the CZU fire that burned Big Basin, and I went up there once after the fire, and I was just so saddened by it. And then I went back about a year later, and there was a fair amount of new growth on the redwoods. The majority of all the other species, the firs, the tan oaks, the maples, the bays, they were all pretty much shot. But I'm pulling into the 236, which is the road that leads into Big Basin right now. And so far, it's looking pretty normal. I don't see any evidence of that big fire. Just so you have a reminder of that fire evacuated and destroyed a lot of properties. We were evacuated. It didn't come close to our house, but we could see the fire from the top of our driveway. So it was life-changing for a lot of people. Big Basin Park is only about 30 minutes from my house, and when I get onto Highway 236, the first few miles looks pretty good. It's not showing a whole lot of evidence of the fire, but then again, here we go. By the amount of foliage, I don't know what the right word for that is, refoliating, restoration, because look at these trees. They were all completely burned, but they're coming back. Now, there's a fir tree that didn't make it, but the redwoods, they're putting on a lot of new growth. And you can see off in the distance how many trees made it and how many trees did not make it. It's also nice to see a lot of green, lush, new vegetation. A lot of tan oaks are resurrecting themselves, and other low foliage. So it's been 4 years, and I came up to the same area 3 years ago, and I did not expect it to be near this nice. I mean, there's certain areas that still look really bad, but let's carry on. Let's go closer to the park. I'm up by an area that they call China Grade, and it looks pretty devastating out here. Way off in the distance, you can see lots and lots of dead trees and the whole forest around here. The big trees are all going to be turned into future compost as they degrade. But it might take another decade or so for all these trees to crumble. But look at all the new growth, everything that's coming in. Look at that patch of madrones right there. One thing I did notice was the tan oaks are coming back just so prolifically. There are so many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of tan oaks that are coming up. I'm wondering if the fire had anything to do with helping these acorns to resprout. So these trees right here are only 4 years old or less, because everything was burned to the ground. It's kind of sad. Well, I'm pulling into the main part of where all the magnificent trees were. And this is where the visitor center was. It was just an amazing old log cabin. Oh, the whole place is just a disaster. Oh, dear Lord. The trees are surviving, but boy, are they in rough shape. I don't know whether to be happy that it's trying to come back or whether I want to cry, because it's so devastating. I have pictures of this tree behind me here that are just amazing. Look at it now. Is it surviving? Let's hope so. They're trying to survive. Surviving and persevering are probably different things to say about the forest. A lot of times that with this much damage, the trees go into a state of long-term decline. They'll put out new foliage to sustain themselves, but they'll never be the same. Look at all this new growth coming up from the base of these trees. But when you look up, it doesn't look too good. Now, this was supposed to be one of the tallest trees in the park right here. Still pretty tall, but it's lost its top, and it's nothing compared to what it was. This one didn't survive at all. So many of them have lost their tops. You know, this is the Redwood Trail that I have hiked in so many times over the years. I've got pictures of my kids inside that tree back over there. They've got everything all roped off and don't let you get anywhere near the trees because I guess they're all ready to fall down. I mean, look up. Look at those things. They're just ticking time bombs. It used to be so lush and so dark and so thick on this walk. Now there's just too much sunshine. And on the positive side, some of the trees still look pretty good. The bark isn't burned all the way up on those trees. It's just burned down low. And the volume of foliage is still pretty good. Now that one, nope, that's a fir tree. The firs didn't make it, but the redwoods did. That's the only fir that I've seen that survived down here. Maybe it's because its roots are down in the creek here. I have so many pictures of my kids on this log when it had bark on it. Okay, here's an arborist nightmare tree. This is hanging over the places where people park. It's a big oak there, but the top is so rotted out. There was a little gift shop and a store right there. No sign of it. Nothing. Looks like a temporary bathroom or something. Now, a lot of you that have been to Big Basin know the Redwood Trail. It's across the street from where the old visitor center was. Emphasis on the word was. All the buildings are gone. The docent at the center where you have to pay to get into the park, they still charge you $10. But she told me there's no water, there's no electricity. I couldn't even pay her with cash. She said everything has to be done electronically now. So I took a little bit of time. I'm playing with my 360 camera here to give you a little bit of a different perspective. So enjoy this last little bit of the park. And if you get a chance to get up there, please let me know what you think. I'm deeply saddened by what I saw, but also very hopeful. Okay, I know that some of these shots are a little bit weird. There's a new camera. Well, it's not new, but it's relatively new. It's called a 360 camera, and it has two lenses on it. You're able to do editing as you view it, and you can actually make it look like there's a little small world, or you can rotate things around. It's like the most extreme wide-angle lens you could possibly imagine. But it's kind of fun. It gives you a different perspective.